For the first 2 months of 2024, single-family home prices here in the central Okanagan have seen an increase. The benchmark price for a single-family home is back over $1 million here, and that's what I'm going to go over today, is what happened in February of 2024 with home prices, townhouses, and condos. And before we jump into the numbers, if you are new around here, my name is James Roffel. I'm a realtor here in Kelowna, servicing Kelowna and the central Okanagan. And if you get any value out of this video, please drop a like and hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all my future videos. And if you're looking to get into the housing market or looking to buy or sell, I'd love to help you out. There is a link down below in the description where you can book a one-on-one call with me there. All right, so let's start this market update with the single family homes here in the central Okanagan. So the benchmark price, as I did mention, is now at over $1 million. $1,009,100 right now. So that ended February of 2024. Now this price brings us essentially back to November of 2021. So we saw a huge price surge from the end of 2021 to 2022, if you remember. So home prices here and most of Canada actually peaked out about February or March. We peaked out in March at just under $1.2 million, and that spanned the whole central Okanagan. In Kelowna itself, was probably over 1.2 million if you counted just Kelowna. And then once April hit, once the interest rates started going back up, then we saw, if you want to call that a crash, we crashed all the way down to $976,000 for a benchmark price here in the central Okanagan. Then for 2023, we had a little bubble there in 2023. House prices peaked out at $1,068,000, then did a little bit of a roller coaster all the way till now. And I suspect for March, house prices to keep going up as well. Just that's kind of the nature of the spring market here in the Okanagan. And if we dig a little deeper into single family homes, if you are waiting for a crash to happen, if you call this a crash, March 2022 was our peak, as I mentioned, and we're actually down. House prices overall are actually down 14% since then. And if we look back at what happened last month in February, so the price ratio ended up being almost 97%, meaning if you are a buyer and you're coming in with an offer, the average offers are getting accepted 3% below the asking price. And if you are a seller and your house hasn't sold in the first 2 weeks, don't worry, the average house right now sitting on the market for around 77 days. Obviously some less, some more. This is an average. And lastly, just at the bottom there, months of inventory were at 9, meaning if no homes hit the market ever right now, it would take 9 months to sell off the current inventory. And as that number goes down, we get into a balanced market, and then if it goes even further down, say 2-3 months of inventory, then we're in a seller's market, just like what we had in March of 2022 when the market was crazy. And next, let's look at the townhouse market. So again, in terms of a crash, home prices or townhome prices are down about 10% since the peak in March of 2022. The benchmark price for a townhouse in the central Okanagan right now is over $750,000. So that'll get you into a 3-bedroom, newer as well, newer 3-bedroom townhouse here in the central Okanagan. And prices are back to mid-January 2022. And for February, the price ratio for townhomes, just like single family homes, you're at 97%. So if you're a buyer, you're getting about 3% on average off that list price. Days to sell, you're about 60 days to sell if you're looking to sell your townhouse right now in the central Okanagan. And months of inventory, if no other townhouses hit the market, it would take about 8 months to sell those off, which again puts us into a buyer's market. And last but not least, my favorite category right now is the condo market. This is going to get interesting over the next few months, I would imagine. So if you're not aware, the condo market here in the central Okanagan specifically Kelowna. So Central Okanagan, if you don't know, is Peachland, West Kelowna, Kelowna, and Lake Country. But specifically talking about Kelowna's condo market, they've done away with short-term rentals, meaning all those properties that had short-term rentals in them will not be allowed to rent short-term or Airbnb or VRBO, whatever you want to call it. They will not be allowed to rent them out like that. They have to either sell them if they can't afford the carrying costs on that, or they'll have to rent them out long term, which we're seeing people not doing. There are a lot of listings coming up in those areas that had those short-term rentals. Now, in terms of condo prices here in the Central Okanagan, in February, we're at just over $500,000 for a benchmark price here for a condo in the Central Okanagan. In January 2022, we're basically back to where prices were then. And again, if you're waiting for that crash, condo prices are down about 8% since the peak. So if you bought in here, you're almost back to break even. So hopefully you don't have to sell, but just for reference, so if you did buy in here, you're almost back to break even, which is good. And the rest of February for condos, the price ratio is 96%. So buyers are seeing about a 4%, I call it a discount, off the list price. So their agents are able to negotiate about 4% on average off the list price. Days to sell, similar to townhomes, you're about 2 months to sell a condo right now. And months of inventory, just like townhouses and single family homes, you are in a buyer's market, and condos have 9 months of inventory. Now, to discuss a little bit more here for condos in the Central Okanagan, it's going to be very interesting, as I mentioned, over the next few months when those new short-term rental rules come into play. There are like I said, a lot of those condos hitting the market, but there's also a lot of condos in general hitting the market because of the new buildings that we have going up downtown and just around town in general. So even though the condo prices have gone up, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in March and April to see if the condo prices keep going up. I don't suspect it, but I'd be very surprised if they did. If they do, it'll probably be, maybe a couple $1,000s overall. But it's just very hard for me to see it take off, like maybe in the single family home market, just because there's going to be so much inventory on the market. And a lot of that inventory right now is not necessarily priced to sell. They're hoping for the best for what they get. But if we do see a lot more condos hit the market, those people have to bring those prices down to get them sold. Now, if you are looking to purchase a condo in the next couple months, you may want to wait and see what happens, if you can, or if you want to. If you are a first-time home buyer looking to get into the housing market, I would imagine most first-time home buyers are going to be in the condo market, just like myself. There are new incentives coming out from the government, saving you property transfer tax up to $500,000. So let's say you did buy bang on $500,000 condo, that would save you $8,000 out of your pocket in closing costs, because those property transfer tax you cannot add to your mortgage. And I did a quick video on this as well. I'll link it up above there if you want to check that out, just so you have an idea of what's going on and what's coming up here in the spring. And that does it for this month's market update for the Central Okanagan. If you got any value out of this video, please drop a like so other people like you can see this as well. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button for more. And if you're looking to get into the housing market here in the Central Okanagan, I'd love to help you out. There is a link down below in the description. Thanks so much and have a good day.